Howdy folks. Today we're going to go ahead and talk through the basics of our second lab, which is going to be our anthropometrics, aka the Vertuvian man. So, if you've got a wonderful fabric tape measure, this is going to be the easiest way to go about it. If you don't have that, you can honestly use a string, a belt, or any other type of object. You can then use a ruler to measure that. And if you don't have a ruler, you have this thing hopefully called a sheet of paper somewhere where you live. These are 8.5 by 11. If you go ahead and get a second sheet of paper, you can then figure out what is 1.5 inches, and then from there, repeat it ad nauseum until you're able to figure out what is the length of the area. Now, we're going to go ahead and be using the metric units, so centimeters, okay? And we're going to be looking at things like how long, for starting from our shoulder, all the way to the end of our hand, sorry, I have really long arms, how far of a reach that ends up being. Then we're going to be looking at things like how tall we are. Hopefully you guys already have a pretty good working number of that. And then measuring the other segments of the body. We're not worrying about how broad our shoulders are, our waist, our hips. We're just looking at really how long are each of these limbs, because that's going to be further incorporated later on when we're looking at the forces and torque that you're going to be producing whenever you're doing your actual projects. So if you have an idea for obviously how long the limbs are, how many degrees you can move them through, we're going to be able to figure out velocity, we're going to be able to figure out our lever arms, and from there we're going to figure out ideas of the torque required to move those limbs and the forces those muscles are going to have to produce. So, thanks for listening, guys. Have fun with it. Like I said, if you got a cloth tape measure, it's going to make life easy. If you don't, it's okay. You can use a string, you can use a belt, anything that's flexible. And we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for good effort. And it's always fun to look at the difference between your wingspan and how tall you are. Because in a perfect world, in theory, it's supposed to be the same. But what we find, that rarely happens. Have a great day.